Hello everyone, welcome back to Queen Dee Tarot. I am your Royal Highness, Queen Dee. I wanted to get on here and do an energy reading for the Divine Masculines. I think Divine Feminines are definitely at a point of surrender. I think while they are definitely moving through dense energies as well, I think they've ultimately been through... They're a lot further in their journeys than Divine Masculines are. We know Divine Masculines need to catch up. But I wanted to do something for the Divine Masculines, mostly because I feel like there's such painful awakenings happening right now. And that when Saturn went into retrograde, the rebalancing of karma that's happening is not so neat as certain Divine Masculines would like, because they love being in control. But I think mostly... they're really being shaken out of their comfort zones right now. But I feel that the Divine Masculines, and I've been getting so much signs with mermaids and dolphins and oceans. And there's a few Divine Masculine figures in my life who I've been speaking to, and they've been describing their journeys right now as going into the depths of the oceans. Ooh, I'm not a fan of the card that came out, but we'll talk about that. They are going into the depths of the oceans to really discover the treasure at the bottom. And that to them is their emotional journey, really tapping into who they are, where they've been, what they're going through, how they're feeling, because feelings is what these Divine Masculines have avoided. They've become so good at running away and avoiding feelings. And of course, my Divine Masculine has just shown up in this reading as well. But I wanted to look at that. And, I've been very open about, tapping into my feminine energies for the most part of my life. But I think being around my father has allowed me to look at some of the Divine Masculine energies in my life that I haven't really built a strong relationship with, and try to integrate my lessons and move towards healing in some of those relationships. But also at the same time, how is that... And I'm getting the thinking man here. So the Divine Masculines are here in my energy right now. What was I saying? And just how I need to work on my Divine Masculine energies as well. Oh my God, the men, they are just showing up. It's like one woman has not even popped up into this reading so far. It's just all men. This is truly... Well, first of all, I'm good. But, I'm really picking up even on my masculine energies here as well. And I think, being around my father has allowed me to look at my own masculine wounds and where I've experienced a lot of that deceit and that pain, and how I need to really restructure that masculine energy inside of me, because I'm very in tune with the feminine and I know how to channel her, but I need to really work on my masculine energies. So the cards that I'm pulling out right now are Deceit. Is the first card that had come out. I'm not really a fan of it, but you see a very wicked sort of man in the center there, with deceit in his eyes, as you can see. So I feel right now that the reason why the Divine Masculines really entered in a very gray zone or a very low vibrating energy is because they were tapping into energies of deceit and manipulation. And when I'm speaking about divine counterpart journeys and just Divine Masculine energies for the collective in general, masculine energies, because they want to really control things and they're really working through a very logical way of thinking, sometimes they resort to deceit, lying, and manipulation as a way to protect themselves and also control the narrative that they're trying to be a part of. It allows them to move through the world in a way that they're comfortable with. It isn't necessarily about causing others pain, even though that does happen. Their main intention is to just control and protect themselves and move through the dense energies of life in a way that is comfortable for them and at a pace that is comfortable for them. And that often requires deceit. I don't want to say requires, actually. It shouldn't require deceit. It involves deceit, manipulation, lying. And I feel like the Divine Masculines, that is catching up with them. For the Divine Masculines that I'm really picking up on right now, they know that the lies and the deceit and the betrayals and the manipulation that they've been a part of hasn't led them to their happiness. They're still at a point in their lives where they're not where they want to be. And they're realizing that it's their actions that have kept them there, that have kept them stuck there, and that they need to change that. So I do feel that when Saturn went retrograde on May 23rd, that was probably the big jolt these masculine energies needed to really get their shit together. suddenly the light was being shown over all the dark parts of their lives. And it's painful to acknowledge those things. And, you know, I think we have to give divine masculines a little bit of a break here. It'll take some time for them to come out into the open and acknowledge it, either to the divine feminines or other people in their lives, but they will get there. Okay, so I don't see that deceit is necessarily at work here. I think they're coming out of this energy, or they're acknowledging it at least, okay? The next card right away I see is a sun. The sun is masculine energy, where we know the moon is divine feminine energy. So the divine masculine is the sun. The sun in the tarot deck is the happiest card in the deck. This is full on Leo energy. My divine masculine is a Leo, so I know that he's made an appearance here. But also this kind of tells me right now that happiness is something that is on these divine masculines' minds. They are working towards happiness. They are now trying to discover the steps they need to take in order to be happy. And it involves walking away from this sort of energy, you know, and walking towards this sort of energy. I think also the sun is showing me that there is light that's being shed on the parts that have been hidden in the dark. And this is what the divine masculines are moving through right now, right? As we can see in this card here, we do have a feminine here in water just floating around. There's a fish around her. She's got some lotuses blooming. She seems to be somewhat of a mermaid figure. And this tells me that for those divine masculines working towards their divine feminines, you know, or working towards that female figure or female energy in love, she is the happiness for him. And he has stepped away from her either for third-party situations or to live in low vibrating energy because he didn't acknowledge that she was happiness. But now he's acknowledging that she is happiness, okay? And if it's not a love union that we're talking about, then it's the happiness inside of him. It's his inner child that he's acknowledging, okay? Because in the actual traditional tarot deck, it's a little boy or an androgynous figure, a child on a horse riding in the sun. And so this is an acknowledgement of the inner child for those who are not looking at this as a love reading. But right after, I see two cards here. Okay, I see a thinking man, which is number 46, and then the card that came out afterwards was a man holding a heart, number 45. So I see here, we're going from 46 to 45 here. So if I come to 46 here with the thinking man, the divine masculines are thinking right now. They're really going through this process of, oh my God, I can't believe I was in this energy. I need to step towards happiness. They're really thinking about their actions. I think they're also taking stock of who's in their life right now. Any third-party situations in relationships are coming to an end. Also, third-party doesn't necessarily need to be another person in a relationship, but it could also be parents, parental figures. It could be a lifestyle. It could be addictions. Anything that is a third energy interfering with him and another person is going to come to an end here, and he's thinking about ways to do it. He's also acknowledging the things that he's done wrong, the apologies that he needs to give. He definitely is stepping into that place. And I really see them, like I said, stepping into the depths of their emotions. And the reason why the energies are so intense and dense for them right now is not only because Saturn's in retrograde and now Mercury's in retrograde, and you know, we are coming out of a lunar eclipse going into a solar eclipse, and we're in the middle of, you know, eclipse season. It's all of that and more, but they're really discovering themselves. And I think for the first time, these guys and these masculine energies are stepping into their emotions. And by stepping into their emotions, they are now being more aware and more conscious. And I think they're not necessarily happy about a lot of the things that they're seeing and discovering about themselves. That's what I'm feeling right now. But then we come to step 45. So we're not going from 45 to 46. We're going from 46 to 45. And it's because they've realized that they've been so in their head that they have to take a step back and come into their heart. Because by living and feeling through their heart, they will do what is true to them. They will tap into their authenticity. They will tap into their truth. They will be happy with what is happening if they can step back and work from this heart space. Because I think they've been so guarded that they haven't even allowed themselves to come here. They've only been with their logical mind. And oftentimes, you know, you can do this in a very healthy way, but divine masculines who are really struggling are just stepping into their ego more than anything. It's time to step into their heart. So we're going from 46 to 45 here. We're taking a step back. And during this retrograde season, they're really taking the time to just take a pause and be like, hey, okay, I need to figure this out. That's what I'm getting here. Okay, now that was the energy oracle cards that I was using. What do I want to do? Okay, I'm going to grab some from the soul's journey here. And I wore blue today because I felt inspired by the ocean. And, you know, I was seeing dolphins popping up in magazines. One of my candles has a dolphin on it. All of a sudden I put on Netflix and there was this whole documentary about dolphins. And so I think dolphins are very significant here. It's beautiful, but I also see that it's very significant of the ocean and water and our emotions. Okay. So what is it that the divine masculines are working through right now? What is this intensity that they're feeling? Okay. Service. I feel good when I can help others. So I see here that they are thinking about how they could have stepped up to the plate when it came to their divine feminines or any other people in their lives, people that they have abandoned, people that they've walked away from. How could their actions have helped a certain situation? How could they have contributed to certain things for a positive ending? I see that these divine masculines avoided their emotions. They avoided difficult situations. They just kept running. And once you start running, you keep running for the rest of your lives almost. But now they're realizing that, how could I have been service to people and situations? How could I have contributed positively? How could have the situations have turned out differently had I not let my ego come into play and control things? How would things have been differently? How different would have things been if I tapped into my emotions instead of my ego? You know, how could I have been service to myself? Not just about others. How could I have offered things to myself here? I think that's what they're looking at. There's a level of disappointment that's coming in with that. I feel like some divine masculines are just, you know, not feeling it. And then we have empathy. I am open to seeing both sides of a situation. So this is the awakening that is coming from tapping into their emotions. They are now starting to see how others could have felt in situations with them. If it's a twin flame divine counterpart situation, then these masculines are starting to realize how they've affected their divine feminines, how they have felt abandoned in their lives, which made them abandon others. They are starting to realize the effect of their actions on others, and that is not something that they've always been consciously aware of. So I think that's the empathy. But again, you know, we've got service and empathy here. I feel like as much as this is all positive movement forward and they're coming into this level of conscious awareness, there's a level of disappointment here that the divine masculines are feeling really deeply. They are ashamed of how they've been in the past. And it's causing them to dig deeper into their emotions. I feel some of them are depressed, but they can work out of this energy with strength. They can. And this is beautiful. This is a beautiful time of reflection here. The next one I got here is humor. I choose to focus on the lighter side of life. I think this is a beautiful energy for me. I think divine masculines have always tried to be lighthearted about things, and they've tried to avoid the intensity of certain situations. I know my DM definitely did that. There are times where they would really look at things that were deep in life, but they'd look at it almost with a childlike lens. But sometimes, you know, life and the situations and the things we deal with don't afford us to look at things like a kid all the time. We have to be an adult about certain things. So I feel like they're still being lighthearted. I think that once they start communicating about their emotions, at the depth of their emotions, they'll be lighthearted about this too. I will say to you, my father, for the very first time, I've been very open about my healing journey with my father and how that divine masculine energies are healing in me and with him. He, for the very first time, I have to step away out of the house for a bit. And he asked me to stay. He's like, you know, I'm feeling very emotional and I feel very worried and, you know, things are really bothering me. And I'm like, okay, like this is the first time you've ever opened up to me about this. And so he's definitely, you know, an example of the divine masculines right now. And I know if my father is part of that collective going through it, then I know other masculines are as well, you know? Okay, and one more as I end this reading. What else do we need to know? Gratitude. I think divine masculines are now stepping into a place of being grateful for the things that they have been through and the people that were part of their lives. I think specifically in divine counterpart unions, these divine masculines are now grateful for their divine feminines. They see the beauty of their divine feminines. They see, and those who are not are starting to see the beauty of life. They're starting to appreciate these feminine energies and how they have helped them shape up in a certain way and level up in a certain way and grow up in a certain way. And I think they'll be actively taking steps forward. So I do see masculines coming out of this. I think it might take some time, but ultimately it will lead to abundance in relationship, love, health, wealth, everywhere. Okay.